Good evening. I'd like to welcome you all to this meeting of Santa Fe ISD Board of Trustees. We believe it's important that this meeting be conducted in an organized and efficient manner, and to that end would like to outline some ground rules for all of us to follow during the course of the evening. First and foremost, recognize this is a board's meeting. By law, most of the discussion and all of the voting must be done in open session. Public participation by necessity must be limited to that part of the agenda that is reserved for public input. Occasionally, the board may seek comment or clarification from an administrator in attendance or even from someone in the audience. It's the board's prerogative to seek information from non-board members as it chooses. However, unsolicited participation from the audience is inappropriate. Secondly, at times it may seem we're voting on issues of importance with little or no discussion. Be advised that board members get a packet of background information about the various subjects on tonight's agenda several days in advance of actually coming here to participate in the meeting. After receiving our packets, all board members have and often exercise the opportunity to contact various school administrators to ask specific questions in an effort to better understand the issue on which we're expected to vote. We thank you for being interested in your school district as witnessed by your presence here tonight. We encourage your active participation in the educational process of your children. We appreciate your cooperation in helping us conduct the business of the Santa Fe ISD in an organized and civilized manner, and we hope you enjoy the evening. And with that, Mr. Davenport, would you lead us in the invocation and our pledges, please?
Yes, sir. Will you all please bow your heads? Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to come meet tonight. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing all of us to be present in our district and present in our community. Dear Lord, ask that you help us help one another, help us to be neighborly, help us to love one another, and also help those that are less fortunate. Dear Lord, we open up our minds and our hearts to you, dear Lord, for those prayers that are spoken and unspoken. Dear Lord, just ask that you watch over each and every one of us as we drive home tonight, for it is in your name we pray.
Amen. Our pledges, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, do we have any action from our executive session tonight?
Yes, sir. I move that we employ Soledad Garza and Charles Layton as a teacher for 58 of 187 days for the 2018-2019 school year.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve these hirings. Any questions or comments? No. Not, cast your votes, please. And it is passed unanimously. Thank you. Do we have any other action from our executive session?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Ms. Hanser, you have our recognitions tonight?
Yes, sir. We have our monthly reports available for your review this evening, and I think we can start with Mr. Atkins giving us an update on our projects and new school project.
Where's he at?
How's everybody this evening?
Hello, sir.
All right. First off, the high school work, we're pretty much wrapped up with all of that. The fire alarm is fully functional. All the work by Division I is done except for some punch list stuff. And we're going to wrap some of that up over Easter break. There's some flooring pieces that we need to fix. The PA system replacement is mostly complete. They've got some programming on our side we still got to do, and we're just going through a couple troubleshooting stuff before we switch over 100% to the new PA system. So that project's wrapped up pretty close as well. The we've been monitoring the baseball field. I know that's been something that's been noted. We're out there pretty regular. I was out there Friday. It looked really good. Looks like it's still holding up. So if things change, we'll bring that to everybody's attention. But so far, it looks really good. So the new elementary school is progressing. We are probably looking at a substantial completion in June now as opposed to May like we had hoped. But Weather's been in our favor this week. We've made a lot of good progress. We're getting dried in. We're getting two-sided in places. We're already starting to see finishes go up, ceramic tile in restrooms, some paint on some walls. We should have permanent power in 3 weeks, maybe a little sooner. We'll start the chillers up probably a week after that. We're going to start flushing the chill water lines, and once we get the chillers up, that should help a lot. We've got permanent windows in areas A and B. We've got brick completed all the way to the south side of area C and D, which is, so the brickers should be moving off the job actually in 2 weeks. So that's going really well. We're able to do a little bit of site work today and last couple days, so they're starting to see some progress there. We're working with the city to get our permit for G&a-half so we can start some of those road improvements and stuff that we need to do. And we have our tech stop permit, and we're working on a traffic control plan, and hopefully can do the 1764 work in the next few weeks. And then our roofing projects are both in the substantial completion phase. We walked a punch list last week on the junior high, and this roof, they're still working on some punch list items, but they are pretty much complete. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
So with the delay in the substantial completion move back to June, though, there's still nothing barring something really strange happening that keeps us from starting school.
Correct. So we will start school no matter what. So we, yeah, the kids are gonna go there, but no, the school being substantially complete mid to late June doesn't really affect us. Furniture wasn't scheduled until July to come in, and so that gives us plenty of time. We don't anticipate any major concerns or any major problems. It is a green site, so it's not like we're gonna find these, monsters hidden behind walls or something that you would on a remodel or anything. What's that?
Mold and
No,
asbestos?
no, definitely not. So, really, it's just get the building dried in, which they've got the base sheet on all the roofs. They got windows in. They're waiting on some big window curtain walls that should be coming in the next week or two. And then in the back of the area C, they've got some windows to put in because they go on after the bricker's done. Then once we start the HVAC, the inside goes well. The outside work will be weather dependent, but they're, like I said, they're starting some site work now. Not a lot of concrete left to pour. Not a lot of site work left to do. Landscapers can work with a little bit muddier side as long as they get a rough dress on it. So they're starting to make those moves.
Any other questions for Bob?
No, sir. Thank you, Bob.
All right,
Thank you, sir. All right. Sheree, you have the Yum Nutrition Services update for us?
Good evening. I'm excited to have this opportunity to give you an update. I have a lot of facts and figures on the next few slides, so I wanted to start with something funny about me before I get started with all the boring stuff. My first year in Santa Fe, I was planning the menus, and I was looking for a grain requirement that wasn't pizza crust or buns or hot dog buns. And USDA had come out with a new recipe for gingerbread cake, and it met a grain it was a whole grain, and it met a grain requirement. So I put it on the menu. I thought, this is going to be awesome. And the school year rolled around, and I went to the schools on the first day that we were making this gingerbread cake, and it smelled so good, and it rose beautiful. It looked amazing, and I was so proud of it. And I was standing by a cashier, and a little boy came up to me from the cafeteria at the elementary age, and he goes, "Miss," and he held up a piece of the gingerbread cake, and I had a bite out of it, and I was like, oh no. And he held it up, and he goes, "Miss, this is the worst brownie I ever ate." And I said, well, it's not a brownie, it's a gingerbread cake. And he goes, oh. He just shrugged, and he took another big bite, and he turned around and he walked off. But I learned in that experience that I don't get to decide what's on the menu. The kids decide what's on the menu. So it's all about the kids.
Well, good.
I want to introduce you to our team. We have 48 team members total. We have 3 central office staff, 1 maintenance technician, 4 managers, 4 assistant managers, 35 culinary specialists, and 1 barista at the high school. And next year, we'll be adding 1 manager and 1 assistant manager for Barnett Elementary, and we'll be filling the rest of the staff positions at Barnett by pulling people from our other kitchens. How Nutrition Services generates funds. We have 2 streams of revenue. We have program funds and non-program funds. We receive federal reimbursement for each complete meal or snack we serve, depending on if a student is free, reduced, or paid. And then our non-program funds are catering, adult meals, and all of our a la carte sales. Our annual budget is $2.3 million. We are a not-for-profit entity, and we are self-supporting. 34% of our revenue is the program revenue, and 66% of it is our non-program revenue. Our major expenditures, of course, are food at 40% and labor at 43%. This is our second year with the School Cafe app, and I wanted to give you an update on how that's going. We received 433 free and reduced applications through the app, which is an 8% increase over the first year. And over 12,000 online payments have been made through the app. And 58% of our students have parents who are active on School Cafe. And that's a great tool for us because it gives us a direct line of contact through their cell phones. We can send push notifications directly to parents through that app. Our district total for free and reduced is 45%. How people qualified, 21% were the online applications through School Cafe app. 11% were paper applications. We still send home a paper application to every household on the first day of school every year. And then 68% of our households actually qualified through direct certification. We receive a list from the state on a monthly basis, and we import those names and qualify those households. And they're qualified based on receiving some other form of assistance that the state is already aware of, like SNAP or TANF benefits, or they're possibly foster children. And then our homeless coordinator, Lois, designates kids homeless. But that counts in that direct certification category. These are pictures of our awesome whole grain breakfast items and our smoothies that are really popular. Our average daily breakfast participation is 21%. And then I wanted to break down what that 21% looks like, because you may have assumed that all of our free kids always eat their breakfast, and that's not necessarily the case. 34% of our breakfast eaters are free students, 26% are reduced, and 10% are paid students. And you may say, why is that number so low? And the feedback that I get from parents is that they feel like it's their job to prepare their kids for the day by feeding them a breakfast at home, and they feel like that's something that they can do for them, and so they do it. And so the majority of our kids still eat breakfast at home before they come to school. This is a chart comparing the last 3 years of breakfast participation. R.J. Willem and Kubitschek and junior high all had a slight increase this year, and high school remained steady. Our lunch participation is, our average daily participation is 56%, and the breakdown of that 56% is 68% of our free students, 64% of our reduced students, and 26% of our paid students. So you can see it's a much bigger average of lunch students who eat. This is a 3-year comparison over lunch. You can see we're holding steady. And we feel like this is kind of a win. We'll take it because enrollment is slightly down. High school participation is calculated in a different way because it is non-program funds. So this example is from January of 2019. You take the total sales for that month and divide it by an average meal price, our highest meal price, and get the number of meals for the month. Divide the number of meals for the month by the number of days in that month. You get a total meals per day, and then divide the total meals per day by the enrollment and get a participation. So high school participation is at 75%, which is a number we're proud of. Something new for us this year, we're able to share nutrition information with the nurses In Primero, our new software, Michelle and I spent a long time last summer loading all of our ingredients into Primero, and we gave the nurses a login, so they're able to log in and look at pull up any item they want. But in this example, it's a biscuit, and they can see the carb count if they're tracking carbs for a diabetic student. And then there's also an allergens tab, which I highlighted. And they can pull up any allergens that are attached to that item if they're worried that a student consumed something that they should not have, so they can confirm it. New this year also, we upgraded our share zones. It's a cart and a cooler, and a share zone is a place where students can put unopened food and drink items that they don't want to consume, and other students can go and pick those items up and have them for no charge, so it doesn't go in the garbage. You know, to make a reimbursable meal, kids have to take a fruit or a vegetable, and milk is always an option, and so we're always sending kids back to pick up another thing to make a complete meal. So this is an option for them to, if it's something they really don't want, they can put to the, of course there are limits. It's got to be wrapped, but we worked with the health department on this, so it's all good. You may recognize Michelle in this photo. She's our cafe supervisor, and along with being our cafeteria supervisor, she also serves on the Texas Association for School Nutrition Board. And part of her duties of being on the board was to attend TASN's Legislative Action Conference in Austin in March. And she was able to visit with Greg Bonin and talk to him about request more funding for our program, basically, is what we're asking for. These are pictures of our awesome ladies who were serving fresh Texas produce in the month of October. We participated in the Texas Department of Agriculture's Local Products Challenge. It's a mouthful. And we were able to source over 30 different products that are either grown or produced in the state of Texas, and we're always looking for more. And but because of that, we were able to be recognized by TDA as a Best of the Bunch school district. Why school meals are important? Because we know hungry students cannot learn.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions for Sheree?
No. Thank you, Sheree.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe we are ready to move into our consent agenda.
Yes, sir. We do have a few items for your consideration and approval on our consent agenda this evening that include our minutes and accounts payable, budget amendments, and IMA, instructional material allotment, and TEKS, our standard certification required by the state.
Mr. President, I make a motion we approve as presented.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as presented. Any questions or comments? Not, cast your votes, please. And it has passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we will now move into our regular agenda, and I believe our first item of business is Administrative Professionals Day. Ms. Hansard?
Yes, sir, Mr. Norman. Administrative Professionals Day, also known as Secretary's Day, was created in 1952 to recognize the significance of the profession and acknowledge the importance and value of the position to America's companies, businesses, and institutions, both large and small, including public schools. Administrative Professionals Day is being observed nationwide on April 25th, 2019.
Mr. President, I make a motion. I move that we proclaim April 25th, 2019 as Administrative Professional Day in Santa Fe ISD.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this proclamation. Any questions? Not, cast your votes, please. And it has passed unanimously. Thank you, ma'am. You have a couple more?
Yes, sir. National Library Week is April 7th through the 13th, 2019. The theme is Libraries Equal Strong Communities. Libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions, and library workers and librarians fuel efforts to better their communities, campuses, and schools. We encourage all staff, students, and residents to visit the library during this week and explore what's new in your library and engage with your librarian.
Mr. President, I move that we proclaim April 7th through the 13th, 2019 as National Library Week in Santa Fe ISD.
I second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this proclamation for the librarians. Any questions? If not, cast your votes, please. I see we have a few of the librarians in
Yes,
attendance
sir.
tonight.
I'd like to, Board of Trustees, I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our librarians who are with us tonight. They will be attending their conference in April when we would generally honor them, and their service to the district and how their impact opens up a world of opportunities and possibilities for our students. So at this time, if you'd please stand and come forward as I call your name. From RJW, we have Ann Eckerman. From Dan J. Kubicek, we have Dee Dee McLaughlin. From the junior high, we have Susan Bundy. And from the high school, Dana Kubicek.
Thank you for what y'all do. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, I think you have another one, don't you, Patty?
Yes, sir. This is the final one. National Public School Volunteer Week is April 7th through the 13th, 2019. This year's theme is Making a Difference Every Moment. The theme for Public School Volunteer Week provides an opportunity for schools and families to honor and highlight the powerful contribution parents and caregivers provide at school and home to support student success. This week is set aside to urge our fellow citizens to volunteer in our district and community. By volunteering and recognizing those who serve, we can together make a difference.
Mr. President, I move that we proclaim April 7th to 13th, 2019 as National Public School Volunteer Week in Santa Fe ISD.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this proclamation. Any questions? If not, cast your votes, please. And it has passed unanimously. We want to say a big thank you to all those volunteers. Okay, next I think we have some donations with Junco.
The board may accept any bequest, gift of money, or property on behalf of the district. Local CDC policy states that gifts or donations greater than $5,000 shall require board approval before acceptance. We have received a $6,000 donation from the Santa Fe Baseball Booster Club.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the acceptance of the donation that's greater than $5,000 received. The total donation greater than $5,000 is $6,000.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the donations. Any questions? And cast your votes, please. It has passed unanimously. Okay, I think you have the Purchasing Alliance.
Yes, we'd like to join the Central Texas Purchasing Alliance Co-op at a cost of $100 per year and the National Cooperative Purchase Alliance at no cost to the district. We would like to join these co-ops to purchase furniture for the new elementary. Our first co-op is the Central Texas Purchasing Alliance.
Mr. President, I make a motion we approve the intercall agreement between District and Central Texas Purchasing Alliance at an annual cost of $100 to the district.
I second it.
It's moved and seconded that we approve the interlocal agreement. Any questions?
No, sir.
Not cast your votes, please. It has passed unanimously.
And then the
Anything next?
second
You have
co-op
the
is the
cooperative?
national, sorry.
Go ahead.
The second co-op is the National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance.
It's your pleasure.
Mr. President, I make a motion we approve the intercall agreement by district and National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance at no cost to the district. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this interlocal agreement. Any questions? Not cast your votes, please. has passed. Okay, and you have the furniture purchase for Barnett.
Yes, Create Architect has worked for the past several months with Santa Fe ISD Furniture Committee to select the new furniture for the William F. Barnett Elementary School. The Furniture Committee was made up of representatives from each grade level: fine arts, librarians, administrators, special ed, curriculum, counselors, physical ed, and principals. Create worked with furniture vendors to set up 2 classrooms full of furniture for consideration, and then worked with each group to determine which type, brand, and style worked best for their areas. The vendors listed below are members of cooperative purchasing groups who submitted quotes and were selected for the furniture purchase at a cost not to exceed $1,200,000. Quotes per vendor will be reported to the board in the monthly bond reports.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the purchase of furniture for Burnett Elementary from the vendors listed above at a cost not to exceed $1,200,000.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We approve the purchase for the furniture for new elementary. Any questions? Not cast your votes, please. And it has passed unanimously. Thank you. Okay, I think you have one more for
Yes,
start.
sir. The district is required to have an annual review of financial statements by independent auditors. Stark, Garcia, and Stanley LLC has submitted an engagement letter for the year ending June 30th, 2019. We recommend Stark, Garcia, and Stanley to perform our annual audit of financial statements for the 18-19 fiscal year. We are in the process of planning for the district to submit the comprehensive annual financial reports for 18-19 fiscal year. But in the event we cannot complete the setup for the 18-19 fiscal year, we will submit the annual review of the financial statements and continue to prepare for the comprehensive annual financial reports for 19-20 fiscal year. We have 2 engagements letters that have been prepared to accommodate either situation. The anticipated fee range is $45,500 to $49,000.
It's your pleasure.
Mr. President, I move the terms of the audit engagement with Start, Garcia, and Stanley LLC to perform the 2018-2019 fiscal year-end audit not to exceed $49,000.
I second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the terms with Stark, Garcia, and Stanley. Any questions?
No, sir.
Cast your votes, please. And it has passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. McKinney, you want to talk about the bus safety camera program?
So, as some of you remember, 2 years ago, the district transportation department researched information about school bus stop arm enforcement programs. The sample test data documented multiple violations at a rate more than twice the state average and more than 3 times the national average. At that time, the city of Santa Fe felt there were too many unanswered questions to proceed. The transportation department has continued to monitor developments across the state involving school bus stop arm camera programs, and at this time, there is renewed interest on the part of the city of Santa Fe. The city of Santa Fe City Council will be voting on a city ordinance providing for enforcement and a $300 penalty. School bus stop arm cameras record high definition pictures of the driver and license plate of vehicles illegally passing a school bus displaying warning lights with a properly deployed stop arm. The company will capture footage of violations which will be downloaded when the bus returns to the transportation center. The footage will be verified by the company and sent to Santa Fe ISD Police for approval or rejection. Once reviewed by SFISD Police and determined a violation has occurred, Vera Mobility will mail a violation fine to the registered owner of the vehicle in the amount of $300. Revenue will be split between the company and SFISD 60-40. There is no cost to the program, and the revenue can be collected in an internal service fund. The school bus safety camera program will be implemented by August 1st, 2019, with a 30-day warning period beginning at the end of installation. The plan will be communicated to the general public, which travels through the major roadways of Santa Fe.
Is this similar to the red light cameras? Like the companies that's doing this?
It is. In fact, this company does a lot of red light cameras. They did the Houston red light cameras before the Houston City Council broke their deal with them. They're in Austin, in San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, and El Paso, and Wichita Falls, several towns in between Austin and San Antonio as well.
So is this gonna be kind of the same setup where it's not really a violation, it's more of a,
It's like a parking ticket. It incurs a civil penalty. It doesn't go on your driving record. So because it's to the registered owner of the vehicle, for it to be criminal, it would have to identify a specific person. And that's why this is done as a civil penalty.
Is that's also why the fine, I'm assuming, is much lower than a normal fine could be for passing?
So that is set by the state. There's a state standard, and part of the reasoning behind that is it's at a level that's enough that you feel it, but probably not enough that it's worth messing with a lawyer. Probably cost a lawyer that much to fight it, is what I was told by the company.
For the record, it's not high enough for my book, but
Not what's the
So-
regular fine for?
The regular fine in Santa Fe is $625 or $650, but the state of Texas sets the fine range for that at $750 to $1,250 for a first offense.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was way up there, top end of
The-
it was.
The statistic numbers on it, the studies don't indicate that a higher fine reduces the number of infractions or increases the number of convictions. It just encourages people to fight them harder. Like in states where they've taken away somebody's license for 30 days and fined them $3,000, well, the judges are reluctant to enforce that penalty on somebody to take away their livelihood. So that's one of the reasons they recommend this lower civil penalty.
Right. Makes sense.
and what's the 60/40? 40S?
40S, 60 to the company. The company will provide all the equipment. They'll install the equipment, maintain the equipment, pay for the Wi-Fi and the data, and do their part to verify the violation before they send it to us. So they do a lot on their end, and the equipment is very high-definition cameras. They're the same company cameras that we use on the inside of the bus.
So are they gonna set those up themselves on the bus? Are they gonna they gonna put the cameras in the buses themselves?
They will install them. They will maintain them. If there's one that's not working, they'll send a technician out to fix them.
I want to make clear, no cost to us.
No cost to us.
So I'm assuming that they projected a cost that they usually get from a district, and that's why they don't charge. So what if we go considerably under? I don't think we will. I'm just curious.
So I did ask them that question. I asked them if, what if our program is so successful that we have hardly any violations? They told me they thought that'd be great, and they'd put our picture on the cover of their brochure.
Hey, it's all a win-win to me.
True.
It's a pleasure.
I make a motion to approve the school bus safety camera enforcement program, professional service agreement with Vera Mobility and the city of Santa Fe, Texas.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the school bus safety camera enforcement program. Any other questions? Not cast your votes, please. And it is passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Robbins.
good evening. This project is with Layer 3 to purchase a phone system for William Barnett Elementary School. The district will need to purchase and install 58 Mitel phones and licenses to support these devices. This will provide complete coverage throughout the school and is the same phone system vendor the district has on the other campuses. The equipment has a 5-year maintenance agreement with a life expectancy of 5 to 8 years. Layer 3 is a member of the Region 4 Texas Cooperative Purchasing Network and was the winning proposal for this project. The estimate completion time for this project is projected to be 120 days. The purchase of this equipment will not exceed the cost of $50,417.19. So this is for the phone system throughout the campus.
Kip,
Yes, sir.
I don't have anything.
Appreciate that.
Mr. President,
My heart rate went up just a little bit.
I make a motion to approve the Layer 3 to purchase the phone equipment for William Barnett Elementary School at a cost not to exceed $50,417.19, allocated in 618 bond proceeds.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the phone equipment purchase. Any other questions? Not cast your votes, please. It's passed unanimously. Thank you, sir. Okay, I believe that concludes our regular agenda items.